Peace, Black family. It's your brother Hassan. Whenever I'm in Richmond, Virginia, I'm tuning in to the K.Kinte Show.
K.Kinte, the conscious comedian, man. I'm with my brother Hassan, all the way from Dade County. So, I got to salute my brother right now for this coming down here, on the slave trail. As you see, the historical slave trail, Richmond, Virginia. We about to take this tour through this slave trail. My brother, I just want to thank you for this coming down here and sharing this experience that, what our ancestors been through. Because like I said, a lot of brothers and sisters, they kind of forget that we're not African now. So, they kind of say, we're not African and different things. So this is the point right now, just to show people that we are African.
I find it quite disrespectful when people, especially of our melanated hue, would degrade and denigrate what our ancestors been through by saying that we are not African. The history is obviously there, whether through the Caribbean, whether through the Americas, North and South. It shows that we are African people. When you study the history of Van Sertiman, right, who wrote the book They Came Before Columbus, you would see the presence of African people, But what our ancestors went through on those slave ships, going through this, what we consider the slave trail, as far as, the punishment that they endured, is disrespectful when you come along and say that we're not African, as if we didn't come from West Africa. So this thing is surreal, man. I can't imagine walking through this in the dead of night, being shackled up, the type of animals, like you can hear animals now, it's broad daylight. This is something that's eerie, man. Now we have industrialized lighting where everything's more, lighted at night. But imagine coming here into 1600s, shackled up in the middle of the night from a slave ship. Like, this is something we can't forget about our ancestors. This is something that we must always remember. We must walk the trail because we must live. We can't speak Sankofa. We must live Sankofa. We must go back to where we came from.
A lot of Africans were shipped and sold off here. So I just encourage people to come here, soak up some of this history, especially about your ancestors, because we got a lot of people that talk about the ancestors, but it's not about the ancestors. Like I always said, we always had house niggas, and here's the proof, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the proof. Here's the proof. You got the house nigga right here holding the gun. You got the other house nigga right there holding the gun. So they actually had collaborators back in slavery days, too. You just see the proof. What you have to say about this, Brother Hassan?
When it comes to collaborators come in all shapes and forms and fashions, right? Even with the American Revolution, you had collaborators. What was the gentleman that was like, the British are coming, who ended up being a traitor, whatever like that, right? Yeah. See, what the problem is, the Europeans have learned to neutralize their traitors before they become a nuisance to their movement. We try to rekindle a brotherhood with the traitor and try to be like, oh, we could fix him. You can't fix a traitor. Yeah. This is why the Haitian Revolution was so successful, because they took care of the traitors first. They were poisoning them and they were getting rid of them. You get what I'm saying? This is why South Africa was successful. And we have to study that and see, listen, before they attacked the objective, they took care of the traitors. So we always going to have traitors. Asian people have traitors. Arabs have traitors. White people have traitors, but you got to take care of the traitors first before you want to establish any form of forward progress in the movement.
Yes. That was deep. That was deep and powerful. Just wanted to show my brother that right now, ladies and gentlemen. I know y'all always hear me talk about this, but I always point that out just to know we always have collaborators.
Just taking in the essence of being here during the daytime and trying to imagine how it feels to come to a new land at the bottom of a ship in the pitch of night, handcuffed and shackled after traveling for months on hand at sea is something that's frightening. Imagine what our ancestors been through. It's breathtaking to be here and to see, all the brush and the water. Even though the water is calm now, but It's amazing to be here, man. It's breathtaking. It's something that really set you back, that really make you appreciate what your ancestors have been through. The language we're speaking right now is not the language we spoke when we were in West Africa. The religion that we share is not the same religion that we practice in West Africa. Okay, these things are all fundamentally true to the institution of slavery, and you can track that back. If you were to go back in time on this river right here and go back to where that boat sailed off the west coast of Africa, it wouldn't be the same religion. Now, because of colonialism in Africa, you have a lot of Christians, but that is not our fundamental religion as a people. We got to get over that doctrine, man. It's bullshit, and it's not helping our people at all.
Walking on this African burial ground, seeing some of the, the landmarks, seeing some of the markers, just seeing some of the different things that a lot of people came from Africa down here to pay homage. You pour libations out, what I'm saying, before we actually started to do the video, man. So what is your feeling, and how can you describe that to the people as far as with this area?
I feel like I ain't doing enough. Point blank, period. I feel like our ancestors in the situation that we're in today know that we're not doing enough. We may not know that we're not doing enough, but we're not doing enough. When you talk about the Nat Turners, when you talk about the Dessalines, when you talk about, the Kwame Nkrumahs and whoever you want to name throughout the diaspora and on the continent who died and sacrificed their life for us as African beings, I don't feel like we're doing enough, period. I don't feel like, I made a comment to somebody the other day. I said a cracker should never feel comfortable walking through your neighborhood to gentrify your neighborhood. As a black man, if I can't walk through your neighborhood and not feel safe, a cracker should never walk through your neighborhood and feel safe. A cracker should never feel comfortable opening a Starbucks or riding his bike or walking his dog through your neighborhood if another African can't feel safe in your neighborhood. So we're not doing enough.
Now, this is Black August, ladies and gentlemen. This is the month of resistance.
Sorry, brother, I was overzealous right quick. I wanted the mic because you just said something that I think a lot of people overlook how powerful the month of August is, right? So as you said, Marcus Garvey is born in August, right? The Nat Turner Rebellion took place in August. The Haitian Revolution took place in August. You get what I'm saying? That we must understand that August is also the sign of a Leo. And a Leo is a lion. A lion represents African people or the African continent. So that's when we always resist the most, in August, in the summer, when we connect with being African people. See, in the wintertime, you don't have all these riots and things that take place in our cities because we cold. We sun people. You get what I'm saying? But when the sun come out around August and September, we get to acting up. They can't control us. If you go back to the 60s, they have over 120-something riots that took place in August and September, all through the summer, because that's just in us. So we must understand that being of that lion lineage. Places like Virginia, they were the most oppressed. Places like Florida. Florida was the lynching capital, per capita, had the most lynching. Negroes, same thing down in Florida. They're not talking about no black empowerment. They're not going to do it. You get what I'm saying? So what these Europeans have done through genetic markers is put a level of fear in some of us because they put it into our ancestors. And now it lives inside of us. You know what I'm saying? Epigenetics. DNA is passed on. That's why somebody would say, man, you don't make that face. Your mama make a face like that. Or that's something your daddy would say. Or you seem like your daddy, because DNA is information. And so when you produce a child, that child is now going to carry on certain attributes that you have within you. So some of our ancestors have been so tortured that now you got a whole bunch of coons running around. But then we have to understand that Haiti is, and I stand by this, the first Pan-African movement. The first country to put its natural resources, whether it be soldiers, whether it be money, whether it be agriculture, behind freeing other African people. And the only thing they asked in return is that you free your African slaves. They didn't say indigenous. They said free your African slaves. You can go
enslave Africans in Haiti. It says it right on the marker. So, we have, ladies and gentlemen, this is me and my brother always say this is rich history we have down here, ladies and gentlemen. Rich history. And I want to say, like far as with me, I'm a new African, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to the Republic of New Africa. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't big up Africa like at all no more. It's like we diss Africa, we ain't from Africa, we over here. I just gotta always give a shout out to that. Because we always had a nation. Always. Let's not forget that. standing on the African burial ground.
If you don't necessarily know you have a choice, then what is a choice without knowing you have a choice?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? You only know what you've been seeing. And these gentlemen right here, Gabriel Prosser, Nat Turner, they knew they had a choice because they knew about the Haitian Revolution. The first black, you could say republic if you like, but I would say kingdom. Because the first king was Jean-Jacques Dessalines, right? And so other Africans may have not known they had a choice. And that's okay. We here today. Slavery hasn't been abolished. Now we got to wake our people up mentally. We got to get them off that mental enslavement. You are now watching the K.Kinte Show.